Check that out, folks. Let me show it to you. Well, I'm trying to get rid of shadow here, folks, but it looks like I can't, so I don't know. I'll try it this way. If you could see that blue stain, that's pretty stuff. Check this one out. I hope that comes out well for you. All right, we got the table saw waxed and I got the planer waxed. That actually just helps that run that wood through. It doesn't, it doesn't stick. And honestly, I plane a lot of wood, a lot of pine that's air dried. You still get some sap buildup that eventually rubs on any surface that you put hundreds of those over. So waxing them really helps. But what we're up to today is we're trying to take as much of this 1x stock that I milled. Some of it I milled, well, 2 years ago probably. And I'm just planing down to 5/8, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Let's go take a look. What I'm doing here, folks, is I'm just paneling this wall and this one right now. Eventually, we will finish this one and all the other walls in here, but we're starting here in this corner. I've already paneled all the way up to the top of the door on this side, and I held off continuing along simply because I've got to do some framing over here before I start. This wall is going to get framed out even with that 6x post over there. So I've got to bring it out the same distance from the wall, and that way I know where my corner is. So I'll start that framing that will go all the way along this wall so I can finish this one. So I won't finish the top here until I get to that point. But on this side, I can continue all the way to the top because I've actually framed out most of this section over here. I just have to put some top plates in and it's ready to insulate. Now, I will tell you, I got this idea from Jason over at Northwest Sawyer. So Jason's a good guy. We've met a few times. A really nice guy, folks. And if you haven't checked his channel out, go check it out. I'll put it down in the description for you. He's a good guy. Anyway, Jason was doing some paneling in his shop and he just cut it at 45 degrees. And I thought, well, for fast paneling, that'd be really slick. Now, I've said before, I wouldn't do that paneling if I was trying to do the inside of my cabin or a house or something. Then I'll do tongue and groove like you may have seen me do in the past. I've got videos out there where I was doing tongue and groove. But this, folks, this is really, really simple. Cut a 45, cut another piece on 45, both top and bottom, slap it in, and brad nail it in, and away you go. Now, I am using brad nails. I've been a little excessive with them. I was using finishing nails at first, and then I realized I've got a brad nailer. Hello. So, I put the brad nailer to use. Now, all I got to do now is I've got to go back out here and, of course, turn my dust collection system on. And I've done a bunch of these boards already. So if you look at these, so you can see I've already got some jointed sides. And how I'm joining those is I've got my nice, it's almost 6 feet, piece of MDF. And I just screwed down a Rockler track clamp on it, which I can put a link down below for you if you like. Those are super handy, folks. And I can just run that across the top here. So I'll set this up at, 13 inches or whatever I want based on the piece of wood that goes on here. And then run her down the line there. And that'll give me a nice straight edge. As long as, of course, we don't get any movement, which sometimes you will, depending on where that piece of lumber came from. But I will tell you, for the purposes that I'm using it for right now, I haven't had any issue at all. So it works actually really, really well, folks. After we join it, then all we got to do is throw the saw on a 45-degree angle, run one of the boards through, flip it over, run it through again. It gives me two sides, which are like this. There you go, just like that. So you get, what's that, a parallelogram, two 45s. And I'll show you what you do. Then all you got to do, bring it in here, boom, done. Just nail her down, and away you go. Now, obviously, for this one here, I'm going to have to come in here, take these off, and cut around these boxes as I run down the line here. But honestly, not a big deal. You just set the board on here, mark it, and away you go. All the 2x stock you see over there, that's for the wall framing, folks. So I need to quit yakking and get back to work. So let's get to it. All right, well, folks, I did goof up pretty badly here. In my rush to get this knocked out, I cut way too low here and too high here. I did it on both sides. You know, I know better than that. It's not my first rodeo. However, I can fix it. So, you know, this is what I call slapping it up. It's a little bit rough. That's actually okay for this room. It's really a planing and sanding room. So yeah, this room gets really, really dirty, really messy. But I wanted to just put up some paneling. So a bunch of old scrap I had, you know, we planed it down. We kind of jointed it. I can see that some of my jointing on the table saw wasn't all that great. But we put it together. You know, obviously got in a little bit of hurry on some of my end cuts. Two in particular that are kind of obvious in here. You could probably see them. But otherwise, you know what? I like the way it looks in the end. I'll probably case that big gulp right there. That's so that as I'm planing, all my sawdust can just get sucked up out of that, or at least lots of it, and you can sweep the floor right to it. And I'll probably put like a 45-degree piece down on the bottom and just tack it in there, you know, so that it's easier to sweep stuff up into that. And then this goof up here, you know, I'll just make something to go around it and pull those receptacles out. So all I'll do is I'll cut a piece of wood to go over that, pull the whole thing out, and then put the face on it, and it'll be fine. And I'll just do it on both of them. But you know what, folks? I like the way it looks. It's kind of fun. I'm just literally knocking it out with scrap that I've got here, stuff that I milled that I wasn't sure I was going to do with. So I literally have some 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch mixed in here. I don't really care, to be honest with you. This is a slap it up, get her done kind of thing. I think it looks pretty good. You know, it is a rough shop wall. Honestly, you know what? I'm just ripping them through to get them reasonably flat because I'm happy with it the way it is. If I was trying to make the Taj Mahal, things would be a little different. Maybe I'd actually get a joiner. But that ain't what we're building here, folks. So anyway, here you go. More to come. I'll bring some more to you as I do this work. There are also posts for members. And if you've ever thought about a membership, it's like a cup of coffee a month or something. You know, $2.99 I think is the cheap one. It gives you a lot more access to my content, stuff that I don't release out to everybody. Sometimes I just release it to members. The other thing that I'm working on too is contact for members only. So a private email address and perhaps at certain levels, even a phone number, so that you can just communicate directly with me if you want to. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. More to come on memberships. And hey, why do it? Well, it's just a way of supporting the channel. So if you like what I'm doing here, maybe you like my honesty, because when I mess up, I'm going to tell you. That's just one way you could support the channel. Of course, you support it by watching my videos, and I appreciate that too. So, that being said, I'm going to drop another video right here for you to check out. Y'all have a great day. The old Jarhead out.